Right now at noon, the Missouri Highway Patrol investigates the cause of a multiple fatal crash on I-44.
And we have our alert day in place for thunderstorms building in late this evening into the overnight hours. We'll have the latest coming up.
Plus, Southeast Kansas business leaders meet face-to-face with lawmakers to voice their concerns and push for action.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, this is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. We have an alert day today as strong to severe thunderstorms are expected to make their way to the 4 states. Let's go straight to Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We've got showers. We've got some thunderstorms out there now. Nothing strong, nothing severe at this point, but definitely getting some rumbles of thunder now back into Newcastle County, stretching back through southeast Kansas. And we're keeping an eye on this line that just continues to develop back to behind itself off to the west. All of these storms continuing to roll to the east, and even though we've got this activity here, this is not our primary point of concern. It's going to be thunderstorm development taking place further to the west late this evening. That's going to begin to drive into the area. Now, some of the timing has already begun to change, and it's something we need to watch very carefully as early as this evening and continuing into the overnight hours. Quickly look at those temperatures. Of course, we've had some showers in Joplin, cloudy skies, 76, but the dew point humidity levels are up. And we head over to Pittsburgh, and it's the same story. Yeah, we've got the rain, and it's raining right now, 73, but look at that dew point, it's 73, and of course humidity is 100%. Dew point and your temperature are the same, your humidity is always 100%. Off to the east, destabilization also taking place. We've got low 80s, Monette, Cassville, Stockton, upper 70s, Carthage, Lamar, Nevada, and not too bad. We're still in low to mid 70s out to the west. Here's what's changed, and it's something that we've really got to pay attention to. For the storms late this evening into the overnight, we're now at a level 4 out of 5 risk, so widespread, going through a good portion of southeast Kansas into northeastern Oklahoma, which that then has spread the level 3 out of 5 risk across a good portion of the area as well. And the biggest concern is still with damaging winds, and at this point potentially destructive winds, which we're going to break down for you. And then we also have the severe threat still holding on as we head to the mid-morning hours tomorrow. So again, some isolated scattered storms out there. We're going to get enough breaks. We're going to warm up, and then we'll fall back into the upper 70s. So not a lot of change going into the late evening. Storm chances look to increase after midnight. We may see some storms earlier. We're going to go over all those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a 2-vehicle crash in Montgomery County claims the life of a 22-year-old Coffeyville man. It happened yesterday afternoon on County Road 4300 when a semi was traveling south on the road and as a 1998 motorcycle was going north. Now, according to the Kansas Highway Patrol, the semi attempted to turn left into a driveway when the motorcycle hit the front of the semi on the left side. The motorcycle driver, 22-year-old Wyatt Johnson of Coffeyville, died in the crash. The driver of the semi did not suffer any injuries. KHP says the driver of the motorcycle was not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash. And the Missouri Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal crash on I-44 that killed multiple people and left a community in mourning. The crash happened Sunday afternoon in Crawford County, Missouri. Authorities say a motorhome traveled through the median and struck another vehicle. The collision caused both vehicles to catch fire. All 4 people, 2 in each vehicle, died in the crash. Authorities say all 4 people were in their 60s. Let's see, some limited deer hunting will be permitted in Joplin city limits. The Joplin City Council last night gave final approval to a proposal to allow bow hunting for deer, but only in tightly limited locations, times, and circumstances. The proposal passed on second and third readings last night by a vote of 6-3. Now, the ordinance is to help curb the growing number of deer vehicle collisions in Joplin. And the future of Joplin public transportation took center stage during a public meeting in Carl Junction last night. JATSO, the Joplin Area Transportation Study Organization, announced the kickoff for updating the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, inviting the public out to weigh in on the topic. Now, the next meeting will be held tonight in Webb City at the Mining Days Community Building, then tomorrow in Joplin at the City Hall 5th floor Council Chambers. Both meetings are scheduled to take place from 4:30 to 7 in the evening. Well, Southeast Kansas Inc. invited more than half a dozen state and federal legislators who represent the area to an organized meet and greet hearing directly from community members. Lawmakers say it also gives them a chance to get an idea of what to take back for the next legislative session.
I represent a big district, but Southeast Kansas has a special place in my heart. So it's really important to hear from folks directly, not have sort of commentary filtered through an email or a phone call. Those are important. But at the end of the day, being able to really discuss what's going on with folks makes a world of difference.
Representatives with SEK Inc. also held a presentation for the legislators where they provided information about the current state of housing, the workforce, and childcare in Southeast Kansas. Well, President Trump has returned to Washington to monitor the latest developments between Israel and Iran. He left the G7 summit in Canada early as the conflict enters its 5th day. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
A cloud of black smoke billowed over the central Israeli city of Herzliya as Iran and Israel continue to trade strikes, while Israel's air defense is intercepting many of the missiles. Some were getting through. An Iranian missile slammed into a block of apartments Monday.
I'm not prepared. Israelis don't want terror. We want peace.
The Israeli military says it continues to target military sites in Iran. But blasts on Monday also shook Iran state TV during a live broadcast. President Trump on social media urged people in Tehran to evacuate.
I just want people to be safe.
The president, speaking to reporters on Air Force One this morning, said he decided to leave the G7 summit early to monitor and discuss developments in person.
The Pentagon has increased its defensive posture in the region, saying protecting American forces is the top priority. But officials tell CBS News the U.S. is not joining Israel offensively in its military operation.
President Trump said he wants what he called a real end to Iran's nuclear program.
Look at it better than ceasefire. We're not looking for a ceasefire. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
At Iran's border with Iraq, CBS News' Holly Williams spoke to Iranians who are stockpiling food and gas, some saying they believe the Iranian regime is frightened. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
In a statement issued late last night, the group of 7 nations expressed support for Israel's right to defend itself and labeled Iran as a source of instability in the Middle East. Well, coming up, one of Pittsburgh's oldest manufacturers celebrates its largest expansion in 30 years. And later, we're making Orange Dream Angel Cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, Thanksgiving tradition in Joplin is entering a new chapter. The Schroeder family Explorium announced this morning it has acquired the annual Joplin Turkey Trot presented by Freeman Health System. The event will still feature a 5K and 1-mile fun run on Thanksgiving morning, but it will now serve as a fundraiser for the Explorium's STEAM education programs. Organizers say proceeds will help fund hands-on exhibits, outreach, and scholarships.
In the past years, it started down in front of City Hall, but because we've now taken it on as our signature event, we're going to start it here in front of the Explorium because we can engage those families, get them maybe inside, checking out some of the exhibits and playing with us before they run.
And I want to announce
registration opens in July with the race set for November 27, starting and ending at the Explorium at 300 South Main in downtown Joplin. Well, a major milestone for one of Pittsburgh's long-standing manufacturers, Pitt Plastic, celebrates its largest expansion in 3 decades. A ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday marked the expansion that adds more than 200,000 square feet to the company's total footprint in Pittsburgh. They say the expansion will allow them to grow their customer base and support future revenue, both for the company and the community.
Very important to keep investing back into our existing business. We've been here since 1972. Our original owner, was Gene Bicknell, a very strong proponent of the Crawford County and Pittsburgh area, and we just want to continue his legacy.
With the new space now in use, the team at Plastic says they're focused on the future, investing in infrastructure, workforce growth, and customer service. And the Pittsburgh Fire Department is conducting hydrant flushing in the area from Rouse Street to the East City limits and from East 20th to the North City limits. Officials say the flushing may temporarily cause discolored water. And while it's not hazardous, residents are advised not to wash white clothing during this time. If you do notice discolored water, run cold water taps throughout your home for 5 to 10 minutes until the water runs clear. And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today, I'm going to share with you a cake that's so light and refreshing, it's summertime perfect. And there's no baking required. How's that?
Showers and thunderstorms pushing through now. An alert day for strong to severe thunderstorms later. The latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. Scattered shower storms rolling through now, raining in downtown Pittsburgh. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us where that rain is. We do have at least one stronger storm out there. It's the one that's into Newcastle County that you can see here. Definitely picking up a bit on reflectivity on the radar. It's moving northeast at 40. We're looking at at 30. We've got wind gusts of 40 and some nickel-sized hail. So that pink area you're seeing there is definitely the hail core just north of Newcastle and south of Lenapaw there. So we're going to continue to monitor the storms we have in the area now. We do have otherwise some showers. We've got some heavier moderate rain out there, and we're also watching this activity north of Eureka into northern Greenwood County, and it stretches back all the way back up out here toward Great Bend in Kansas and around McPherson. These storms have continued to develop and recycle and build back to the west, and we can actually show you that here on the radar loop where they just kind of keep redeveloping back there. So we want to keep an eye on that. We want to keep an eye on that storm that's in Newcastle County because, as we mentioned this morning, an isolated strong or severe thunderstorm is still not out of the question right now. But what we are going to be more concerned about is development that's going to take place here a little later off to the the west, and start rolling in here a little later this evening. And that's where our problems begin to arise. So we do have still the isolated to really scattered tornado risk across more of the area. This is the update from 11:30 this morning. We now have the scattered to numerous hail risk with these hatch marks in parts of southeast Kansas indicating the potential for very large hail, 2 inches in diameter or greater. But as mentioned this morning, our biggest concern is with wind, damaging winds. And at this point, we're looking at that potential for destructive winds. We now have the numerous across most of the area, and then in parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, the widespread. So break that down. This is a level 3 out of 5. This is a level 4 out of 5 risk for damaging or, in this case, potentially destructive winds. These hatch marks, which encompass virtually our entire area, indicate the potential of significant winds, 80 miles an hour or greater. And at this point, that's not entirely out of the question with these storms. Now, the greatest threat is going to come into where we have that level 4 out of 5, where we could see those winds possibly upwards of 90 miles an hour, possibly greater. So we really have got to keep an eye on these storms tonight. Now, one of the other big thing that's changed here is the timing on these storms. Now, take a look. As we go a little further in the afternoon, some of the activity that's out there. Yeah, we've got that line up in the northern part of our area, which we'll keep an eye on. But other storms move out. Temperatures still expected to warm. Strong or potentially severe storm or two still not out of the question through the evening. What's starting to change is the timing on these storms. It's been moved up a few hours, honestly. Now we're looking here at 10 o'clock. Showers, thunderstorms already building in. Some of those very likely will be severe, but our big thing is this guy. Develops pretty quickly. It's a big squall line of storms coming in around 11 o'clock or so, racing through southeast Kansas. And on the leading edge of this, where we get those little notches, as we've talked about, that's where those QLCS tornadoes could be, the little spin-up ones. Again, the greatest concern is going to be the wind that this thing is going to bring with it, and those damaging and, again, potentially destructive straight-line winds now earlier than expected by a couple of hours at this point. So we're talking pushing into Pittsburgh, Joplin at or just after midnight. So we're talking parts of southeast Kansas, 10:30, 11 o'clock through Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute, Parsons, as it races to the east. Now by 2 a.m., diving south, Cassville, Anderson, Grove, Bentonville, Veneta, all dealing with that same line. Once it clears out by about 6 a.m. at the latest, we have a brief pause before around 9 a.m. Another round of thunderstorms begins to develop, and through the noon hour, we'll be out there. It won't be until later in the evening, late afternoon, early evening, that those storms exit our area, and they also bring their own severe risk, which again, all hazards are possible. Greatest concerns are going to be with wind and hail. So a lot we're going to keep an eye on. Meteorologist Doug Heddy will be here later this afternoon. And of course, if needed, we'll be here very early in the morning. Temperatures again today, mid 80s for most of us, low 80s tomorrow. After this is done, though, the heat is on. We go into the low to mid 90s into the weekend. Could see heat index values this weekend, 100 to 105. So be prepared for that as well.
Absolutely. Stick around. We're back with Mr. Food right after this. Here's Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As we head into summer, one of the last things we want to do is turn on our oven to bake a cake. But that doesn't mean we should do without. So let me share with you a cake that is so light and refreshing, it's summertime perfect. And there's no baking required. We start by cutting a store-bought angel food cake into slices and arranging them in a baking dish. After dissolving orange gelatin in some hot water, we stir in a bit of cold water, give it a stir, and slowly pour it over the cake. Now this goes into the fridge to chill up while we add some orange zest to some vanilla pudding. And for the part that makes this all creamy, we fold in some whipped topping. All that's left to do is spread this over the cake and back into the fridge it goes. And whether we use regular or sugar-free ingredients, we really can't miss, since this is so big on taste. Top each piece with a slice of orange and grab yourself a fork. You see, with the fresh taste of the orange, the creaminess of the topping, and the cake, which is as light as air, you won't even feel guilty going back for seconds. I hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our Orange Dream Angel Cake, so you can enjoy a freshly made cake without lighting your oven. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a dreamy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Now here are the 4-state market prices.
All right, just came down a little bit ago. We have a severe thunderstorm warning now until 1 o'clock for parts of Nowata and Craig counties. This is for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Part of that storm that we showed you earlier that is continuing to push off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. Additionally, we have our alert day today for the possibility of those severe storms later this evening and overnight. So a lot we've got to keep an eye on. Again, damaging wind, the primary concern with this.
Absolutely. Dowdy, our first leader on today.
Well, a lot's coming up at 5 for starters. Age is something we all have to face, if we're lucky anyway. Maybe you feel yourself slowing down a little, or you see a loved one becoming more forgetful than usual. But when does normal aging turn into something you should be concerned about? We're going to take a look. Plus, Pittsburgh Community School students will now be able to eat free breakfast and lunch regardless of household income. And we're going to hear from the Family Initiative and Southeast Kansas Foster Family on local needs for foster families. So join us for those stories more. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely, Dowd. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.